Hi there, it's Dr. Nigel Giam, Lead GP Training Program Director for St Mary's Scheme. I'm going to be interviewing a few more ST3s who've successfully smashed the recent RCA sitting, the first of whom is one of my own GP registrars at St Mary's, Azelea, who managed to score 200 in the RCA exam, an amazing score. If you want to know her top tips, her RCA game changers, what we did to ensure she smashed the exam, then do have a listen to this quick interview with her. I do hope you find it useful. If you want to subscribe and find out more in terms of how we can help you, then do consider joining our YouTube channel on MentorMRCGP, our Facebook support group, and you can follow me on Twitter where I can provide you with more advice and support. So let's listen to how Azelea smashed the exam, and we'll catch up with you in a bit. Hi, it's Nigel Giam, Lead Training Program Director for St Mary's Scheme. I'm really happy to have one of my own today, Azelea, who's one of our ST3s who recently took the RCA and smashed it with a score of 200. So Azelea, very happy to have you on. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Tell us a little bit about how you approach the RCA.
I think, well, I guess a lot of it had to do with how you sort of introduced it to us initially, because I'm lucky enough to be on your VTS. But I started early, started sort of 3 or 4 months in advance, and that was just getting used to sort of the recording, the whole sort of getting things in time, because my first few were really out of time. And then you sort of get better at it. So I gave myself that time because I knew it was going to be pressured.
Exactly. And that's going to be very important, obviously, for those who've been stung in the March sitting. They'll be feeling quite down, but if they're going to be sitting for September, I guess they're going to have to get back up and start recording again quite soon.
Yeah. And I guess it's sort of, I think it's one of those things that's not to get burnt out, because it is an exam that you do really feel burnt out with. And I guess if you're giving yourself the time, then you can be a bit kinder to yourself. You know, you can give yourself a few days off in the week, and you don't have to record every single day. And I don't think you should.
So that's a really important point, because that's something that I really do stress with our STs here, not recording every single day, but recording smart, working smart rather than hard. So if we think a little bit about, I suppose, time management with the actual case, what sort of take-home messages did you sort of take away from your RCA case selection and how to manage time within a case?
I think I quickly realized that I needed to have a timer in front of me, whether it was a telephone console or a face-to-face. So on the face-to-faces, I actually had like a timer on the screen, so I could see it. And I guess sort of knowing that you always give your patient that golden minute, for sure. And then by about 6-7 minutes, starting to wrap up and sort of summarize a really quick summary, like this is what you've told me, is that correct? And then going, I think, you know, this is X, Y, and Z. I think that kind of kept me on track, because otherwise, before I was doing that, I was sort of having 20-minute consults where, you know, it was just not in time.
And I was fortunate, obviously, being, you know, your TPD, to actually listen to some of your recordings. So you were priming cases very well as well, and using information really well in that first half to make sure you gave yourself enough time to get into the second. So a lot of the reasons why people fail is because they don't actually hit that clinical management section and give themselves enough time. When it came to clinical management, a lot of the cases that we kind of watched together showed a lot of situational management, which I think really allowed you to score so high. What would you say to people with regards to your advice around case selection? How did you select your cases?
So I tried to select cases that weren't too complex. So one of mine, for example, was an elderly gentleman with diabetes, worsening diabetes, but also had some memory issues. And that ended up being the fact that it was worsening because he wasn't taking his meds. So kind of just thinking about what other social things might be going on with the patient. Work-related things often came up as an angle. But also I think equally trying not to over-prime a patient as well. Because often you would have your set agenda and you stop listening to the patient. So I think that was one of the things I realized halfway through as well.
Okay, so it's striking the balance, obviously, between the patient's agenda, your agenda. So we've talked about complicating factors and angles, but also the other angle you've highlighted is there a deeper psychosocial narrative that allows you to actually manage a situation? So I guess finally, what would your kind of piece of advice be for those who are having to resit? What would you say would be the biggest game changer?
I think definitely start early and give yourself time. Like you say, be smart about your case selection. Don't do it every single day because you will burn out. And I think just also voicing what you're probably thinking already during your consult. So things like, I learned it on your course, but sort of saying, I hear this is happening, but the dilemma we have, your word dilemma, is that, we can't do this or we can't refer you here. And just voicing that, because we probably are thinking it, but sometimes we don't voice it to the patient or the examiner.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, to be truly patient-centered, it isn't just about saying yes to what the patient wants. Sometimes the patient wants something, we can't deliver it, we have a dilemma, we got to work through it, and actually sharing that earlier on so you can find the compromise, and the management plan is going to be key. So good that you've passed. What is the plan now for CCT and after?
A bit of a break after CCT and then see where I get to.
Absolutely. World is your oyster. Thank you very much. All right.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed listening to that interview with Azelea, then do subscribe to the YouTube channel, MentorMRCGP. We've got plenty more ST3 interviews on the RCA and lots of top tips with regards to case selection. And very soon we're going to have an additional channel on the SCA with lots of free resources and webinars. Best of luck, guys. Keep in touch. Keep safe. Bye now.